All right, get ready for this because what you're about to hear it's one of those true stories that's so unbelievable it just sticks with you. It's all about survival, about the power of the human will, and it all kicks off at an altitude that is, well, it's just terrifying to even think about.
10,000 feet. I mean, that's almost 2 miles straight up, and that is the height a man fell from with no working parachute, and somehow he lived to tell the tale. So, to really get a picture of that, imagine you're in a small plane, cruising along, looking down at the clouds below you. That's the kind of height we're talking about. The ground just looks like a map from way up there. So it just makes you wonder, right? What happens when that one piece of equipment, the thing that's supposed to save you, just fails? What is even going through your mind in that moment? And seriously, how could anyone possibly survive that?
Okay, so our story is about a 22-year-old guy named Nicholas Alvarez. Now, for him, a parachute jump was just routine. It was his thing, that moment of freedom. But on this one day, that ordinary routine jump, well, it turned into an absolute fight for his life.
So there he is, 10,000 feet up. He pulls the cord, and nothing. So he goes for the backup, right? The one you always count on. It's jammed. In an instant, the sky isn't his playground anymore. It's this terrifying void, and the ground is just rushing up to meet him, fast. He was falling at 190 kilometers per hour. Think about that. That's faster than you're driving on a highway. It's terminal velocity. It basically turns a human body into a projectile.
And here's the part that just gets me. He had only 30 seconds. 30 seconds! From that horrifying realization to the moment of impact. Just half a minute to process that this was it.
But in those last few seconds, something just clicked. Instead of giving into panic, he remembered his training, a voice in his head, his instructor's voice, telling him, fight the fall. And with this insane clarity, he starts twisting his body, aiming for a patch of trees. He was hoping, just hoping, they might break his fall. It was the only shot he had. His only chance. The rescue team eventually found him. He was unconscious, all tangled up in the very branches that, against every single odd, had saved him. But the cost of surviving that fall was just immense.
I mean, listen to this list of injuries. It's just staggering. 18 broken bones. His spine, shattered. Both lungs, punctured. Any one of those things could kill you. He had them all at the same time. His body was just completely broken.
And the verdict from the doctors was just as brutal as the fall. They were all in agreement. Yeah, he might survive, but he will never walk again. And for most people, that's where the story ends. So Nicholas wakes up. He's in a hospital bed, but he's basically a prisoner inside his own body. He can't move, can't feel his feet. All he hears are the beeps of machines, and all he feels is this overwhelming pain and fear. And right there, in that moment of total despair, he made a choice. This one single thought became his anchor. Lying there, totally paralyzed, he just shifted his entire focus. He stopped thinking about all the things he couldn't do and focused on the one tiny thing he might be able to control. He literally told himself, if I can move my fingers, then I can move mountains. And that, right there, that was the turning point. Now, what happened next wasn't some kind of miracle cure. Oh no, it was a war. A brutal, painful, day-by-day war against his own body. Every single moment of rehab was just an exercise in pure, raw willpower. And the scale of this fight was just huge. It took him 2 entire weeks of agonizing effort just to move one finger, a whole month before his hand even twitched. It was 91 days, 3 months before he could even sit up by himself. This wasn't just a recovery, it was a reconstruction, one painful piece at a time. His determination was just so relentless, it felt superhuman. The nurses, the doctors, everyone who saw him fight this battle every single day, they gave him a nickname. They started calling him the Iron Man. I mean, what a perfect testament to his spirit, right? It was just unbreakable.
So get this, 2 years after being told he'd be paralyzed for life, Nicholas Alvarez walked out of that hospital on his own 2 feet. He completely defied their prognosis. But believe it or not, his story of doing the impossible, it was far from over.
5 years. Think about that. 5 more years. That's how long it took from the day he walked out of that hospital to the day he hit his next incredible goal. And that was 5 years of nonstop training, pushing through pain, every single day. And what was that goal? He ran a full marathon. Let that sink in. The man whose spine was shattered, the guy they said would never walk again, ran 26.2 miles. And he did it with metal rods still holding his legs together. Just incredible.
That was just his mindset, you know? When reporters asked him, how on earth did you do that? This was his answer. He just knew that the pain of training, that was temporary. But quitting, the regret from quitting, that lasts forever. And that would have haunted him for the rest of his life.
So Nicholas didn't just get his own life back. He decided to use his story to help change other people's lives. That unbelievable fall became the very foundation for a whole new purpose for him, to go out and inspire the world.
And this quote, it just perfectly captures his whole philosophy now. He totally reframed the most traumatic event you could imagine. For him, the ground wasn't the thing that tried to kill him anymore. Instead, it became a symbol, a starting point, a reminder that no matter how hard you fall, you can always rise again.
And that really brings us to this final, really powerful idea. His story kind of teaches us that sometimes our biggest falls, our worst moments, they aren't about breaking. They're about discovering what it actually takes to soar. So maybe those terrible moments in our lives aren't endings. Maybe, just maybe, they're the moments we're actually learning how to fly.